Jump center for Oklahoma, wins the tap against Cordesia Harris. The Sooners go to work right into Reagan Beers, up and in. You're going to see a lot of that if they allow her that kind of position.
Well, that's one of the things Jenny Baranczyk wants to establish right off the tip is that inside game. And speaking of Courtney Paris, look at Reagan Beers and what she brings to this Sooner basketball team.
Is that about as close a comparison as you can draw?
Yeah, unless you go to the league and look. You know what I mean? But you're exactly right.
Reagan Beers, 72% shooting on the year, first in the SEC.
Nice
that is a three, as behind the line was Justina Graham to give Alabama State the lead.
Well, Graham had a really big game the other night against Oklahoma State, and that's a great way to start.
Skylar Van knocks down the three. Skylar 15 against UNLV when she went over 1,500 points. The fifth Oklahoma Sooner to do so. You saw the starting lineup with Beers and Van, Peyton Verhulst, and Nevaeh Tot making her 93rd consecutive start. Cordesia Harris knocking down the deuce, and Verhulst gunning the other way. Man, they're letting it fly this morning.
Well, they are, and I got to call the game again, with Alabama State the other night in Stillwater, and they're already being so much more aggressive in this game than they were. And so to see them knocking down shots, that's an area of improvement for this team. And so it's going to be a good battle. Oklahoma's going to step up the defense.
There's the 27th year head coach Frida Freeman-Jackson at Alabama State. Went into the SWAC Hall of Fame in 2019. 3 NCAA tournament trips, and they make these runs where they have to go on the road prior to getting into SWAC play, where they are always a force.
Well, think about it. They played Ole Miss, Virginia, Alabama, Mississippi State. I mean, they are in a gauntlet of a schedule right now.
Peyton Verhulst, what a three-point tear that she is on. Peyton Verhulst is shooting better than 50% from three-point range this year.
Well, we said that in the opening, right? We're going to say her name a lot, and she's an incredible player.
She has made 18 of her last 34 from downtown. 3-point Sooner lead. Shot clock is late for the Hornets, and that one rims out for Justina Graham, who made a three a moment ago.
But like the Oklahoma defense right now, they know that Alabama State struggles offensively, and they're sagging off and almost inviting them to score.
It's good to be home for the Sooners. Already made 3 threes in this game. And there's an Alabama State turnover. Jenny Baranczyk has her Sooners up to number 11 in the country. Said it was just a good road trip. You find out so much about your team, how they're going to respond and react. They went 4-1 and really learned a lot about themselves on the trip, didn't they, Latricia?
Well, they did, and that's part of their journey right now in this preseason. And you want to play teams like they did against Duke, going in overtime. Louisville, which was an incredible game, as we mentioned, and that gets people to watch in November and December, and that's how you grow the game of women's basketball.
Lob up top to Beers from Tot, and she scores her second field goal.
Yeah, Alabama State has no answer for Reagan Beers at 6'4" inside, and they're going to have to draw an extra defender just to get that ball out of her hands.
Sooners have made 5 of their first 7, but Graham is cooking for Alabama State. She has 7.
Well, she averages 5.5 points per game. The other night she had 19, and she's being a force right now in this first quarter.
She's taken up some of the slack with Solangele Akridge being out for Alabama State, and they miss her. Likely to be out another couple of weeks, Frida Freeman-Jackson told us, but somebody's got to shoulder some of the scoring load.
Hey, I get it. Last season, that's their starting point guard, the leader on this team, and their best defender. And so I know that she's excited to have her back, as you mentioned, in a couple of weeks.
4 fresh sets of legs on the floor for Jenny Baranczyk and the Sooners. Zaya Van, Lexi Keys, Beatrice Culleton are all out there with Liz Scott. And that pull-up and pop drops once again. Good start offensively for the Hornets. They've made 5 out of their first 7 from the field.
Well, you mentioned Jenny already subbing early in this first quarter, but she mentioned this game and the next against Oral Roberts, she wants to give her roster some more experience and minutes, and so we're seeing that right now.
Zaya Van turns down the triple, trying to dump it up top for Liz Scott, poked away nicely by Graham. Reset for Van. Can't leave Lexi Keys open. You will pay.
What did you say? You will pay?
You will pay.
That's exactly right. I mean, anytime that Lexi Keats comes into the game, she automatically does something positive rather than delivering the basketball or do what she does best, and that's knock down the three.
I mean, this is a 4-year starter in her career, and now coming off the bench. She's made 12 of her last 19 from three-point range.
Well, she's kept her skill set at a high level, and she's always ready when her name is called.
Scramble for that loose ball, and they say out of bounds. And it will go back to Alabama State. Look at that save by Burles.
Yeah, how about Peyton? I mean, what I love about it, too, is the freshman, Zaya Van, getting in position to rebound the pass. And so that's those 50-50 balls that make highlight reels, just like we just showed.
Jenny Baranczyk liked certainly the way that Zaya Van performed on that road trip. Her first road trip at this level.
Wow.
And playing a lot of minutes. And performed extremely well. Had 3 straight double-figure games, including at Wichita State and at UNLV.
And a freshman playing against teams with more experience, to be honest. It was a great road trip.
Only 5 to shoot here for the Hornets. This is Alana Pooler. And they will get it away. I think Liz Scott might have blocked that effort from Franklin, and it'll be a shot clock violation.
Well, that's one thing with this rotation of players that's on the court right now. You can see that their defense brings a little bit more energy and intensity. And so they did a great job of getting that defensive stop.
Whipped inside to Culleton. Through a double team, can't get the shot away. And she's tied up. Possession arrow heads the other way to Alabama State.
Well, Alabama State did a really good job, and we mentioned that after that first possession of bringing a lot of attention to Reagan Beers on the inside. Only thing that she did wrong, Chad, is she dropped it below her chin and allowed those pesky guards to get a hold of it, and you're just as tall as them if you do that as a post player.
Both teams red hot, shooting 60% or better.
You know, I better get this out of my bag.
Reindeer
how about
teddy
that?
bear.
Look at that.
Oh, that's so cute.
Okay.
That's Rudolph. He's got a red nose.
Yeah. Maybe that's our mascot for right now.
Rudolph is not headed back to Santa's workshop. He's headed to hands of a young child in the area. 15 to shoot here for Alabama State. They're off to a good shooting start. 60%. Doesn't continue there on that try from Anijah Hall, who just checked in, but it'll stay right here.
Yeah, incredible shooting percentage. They usually average 29% from the field, and right now the basket is open for Alabama State.
Oklahoma, 6 assists on 6 made shots. Nice high lob there, and easy for Hall to just go drop it home.
Yeah, great execution by Alabama State, and you can see Jenny Baranczyk was not happy after that single possession.
That's 2 turnovers for the Sooners. Liz Scott dribbling that out of bounds to the ire of Jenny Baranczyk, looking at Liz Scott there.
I almost think she has at times the Pat Summitt look, you know, the stare down.
Yes. That
you just know she's not saying anything, but you just know.
And it's fun to see Liz Scott, having been around now for 4 years with Coach Baranczyk. She really doesn't even look over there. She knows what the message is.
No, she does, and she knows that Jenny loves her very much, and so that's why she'll run through a brick wall for her.
Liz Scott trying to split a double team. We're going to have a tie-up or a foul. It'll be a tie-up, and the possession arrow stays right here. Got to be a confidence booster, though. Oklahoma's on a 2-minute scoring drought, and the Hornets feel like they can be in this thing.
Well, that's what you don't want here early on. It's almost like when you play games that you know that you should win, you want to shut the door on the game early. And right now, Jenny Baranczyk has cleared the bench and brought in a new 5, and she's not happy. She wants them to play Sooner basketball.
So, Raina Scott, Nevaeh Tott, Reagan Beers, Skylar Van on cue, drops that one home. She's back in, as is Sahara Williams.
Yeah, great execution. Skylar Van finding the open gap at the high post area and knocking down an incredible mid-range shot.
Sooners just ripping along at a 64% shooting clip early.
Yeah, most people, and Jenny's still not happy. You know, most people would bottle that up and take it, right? But she knows that right now the Sooners got to bring a little bit more intensity to the game.
That'll be a hold against Sahara Williams. Sahara battled a little bit of foul trouble at times this year, but she's gotten herself into excellent playing condition, and her versatility. We talk about offensive versatility. Her defensive versatility is a big boost for this team.
Well, I tell you, that's one thing that Jenny Bronchek mentioned, is that what Reagan, great shot there, but Reagan Beers brings to the defensive side. It allows Skylar Van and other guards to be really aggressive around the perimeter because they know they have a 6'4" rim protector behind them to help them out.
Sooners by 7. It's their largest lead here in the opening period. 3 minutes to play. Smith falls away and misses that one. Raina Scott making an impact off the bench so far this afternoon. Skylar Van lines up another. That's good.
Hey, talk about getting ready to step into your shot. Skylar Van is looking good from the three-point line. And that's what Sooners want to do. They want to play fast, play 94 feet, and hit those wide open threes or get to the rim for a layup.
It's a good job to chase down the miss there by Caitlin Bryant. And Alabama State will substitute here. Franklin back in. We see Credasia Harris returning, and go the other way. A foul call there. We talked to Frida Freeman-Jackson. You know, she's not a huge fan of the transfer portal as Skylar Van misses there. She didn't really utilize it last season.
Right.
She brought in 7 freshmen, and she said that's no way to go. So they brought in some junior college players. They were just too young last year. So they went out and got a little more experience the JUCO route this year.
Yeah, smart. I mean, she has some veteran experience along with some youth. And, you know, 2 years ago, Chad, when we called that game, she lost 80% of her scoring. And last season, as you mentioned, brought in all freshmen. That didn't work. And now sprinkled in some JUCO transfers. And they're still looking for their identity. She said, I'm not sure what that is. She's hoping it's going to be on the defensive end. And hopefully they'll figure it out before SWAC starts.
It's a 9-0 Oklahoma run. Nevaeh tries to continue it. Rebound to Sahara Williams. Sooners get a reset here. Raina Scott,
pass.
Beautiful dump down, but Beers' shot is blocked and saved by Harris. Here comes Bryant. Bumps into Raina Scott. It'll be an offensive foul. Nicely done there by Raina Scott.
Well, way to turn that negative possession into a positive one. You got to love players that will sacrifice their bodies for their team. And those are momentum changers, as you saw the bench jump up and celebrate that success. But what a great job of getting prepared to take that charge and be there before the offense left their feet.
Skylar Van rebounds the miss and gets deep post position. That's blocked, but Beers is there to put it in.
Well, you can handle at times one post player, but when you have 2 incredible post players in the paint, it's hard to defend both of them when there's a height advantage.
Harris hits a little jump hook there to stop the Oklahoma scoring run, but Skylar Van starts another one.
Yeah, that's what they want to do, is play fast, look to have easy baskets, be playmakers, allow athletes to be athletes. Perfect example of that in that particular possession.
There's Justina Graham from downtown hitting her second 3 of the game.
Well, Justina Graham for Deja Harris is the 2-headed snake of this offense, and so they're going to have to defend them a little bit better.
Sooners have hit 6 of 13 threes in the opening period. Going to have to catch our breath.
We're going to have to figure out the record on that. Where they be on well, the other night, Oklahoma State against this particular team was 20 for 38 for the game.
Goodness. You know, 3-point shooting volume is up all across the board. What do you think of it?
Yeah,
every level, it just is.
Yeah, you know, we always talk about, that's why I bragged on Graham the other night. She was just knocking down mid-range shots. You just don't see that. The mid-range game is obsolete with a lot of teams, and so it's either layups or it's 3-point play, and it's fun. Fans love it.
They do.
Yeah, I would have loved it back in the day.
And it felt like maybe for a few years the shooting percentage hadn't caught up with the volume of attempts, but it seems like it's kind of evening out or getting better.
Chad, I saw a study done for the NBA, and it showed for it the entire season. last year, and predominantly all threes.
And right on cue, Lexi Keys drills one at the wire. What a period. 35 points for Oklahoma in the opening period and 7 made threes. Red hot shooting for both these teams. Oklahoma, though, 7 of 14 from three-point range. The record in a half is 10.
Yeah,
they're approaching that with 1 quarter to go.
Yeah, and they're all, if they keep shooting like they are, that record will be broken. But what they're doing so well is just rotating, giving up a good shot for a great shot, rotating the basketball side to side. But Alabama State's defense, they'll be aggressive at the point of attack, but they're going to leave shooters wide open, so you must knock them down.
5 different Sooners have made at least 1 3, and they have a 17-point lead pointed to period 2. Tough shot there for Smith, and it stays on this end.
I think Lexi took that for granted for just a second because she thought it was going out of bounds, and you got to give the young lady for Alabama State credit for making that extra energy to go get it. Paid off for her.
Shot clock resets to 20 for the Hornets. Little collision out top. Keys chasing it down. Gray is able to save it. Nice hard dribble drive there and a foul call.
Yeah, Jenny Bronchek is upset with the no call with the basketball at half court. There she is.
Thought it was over and back as she's talking with Demoya Pugh about the call there at midcourt. And to the foul line will go Amari Franklin, Pensacola, Florida native, the junior. And as we talked about with Frida Freeman Jackson, kind of going the junior college route. She's one of those, came out of Bishop State Community College, spent 2 seasons there. The discussion continues with Fatu Sissoko-Stephen and Jenny Baranchek.
Well, she's fighting for her team. We all do that, and so she's hopefully she got a great explanation.
And that is what it's all about. She's going to fight tooth and nail for her players, is Jenny Baranchik. What a culture they have built at Oklahoma.
It's unbelievable. When I looked at the roster starting this season and saw the same names that's been here for several seasons, I'm like, have they not graduated yet? She may not be able to run them out of here.
It's just a testament. Nowadays, players don't want to transfer from your program when you have a culture such as Oklahoma's.
Well, there's a lot of loyalty with these players and the culture that Jenny Bronchak has developed here. I mean, I want to be a part of the team. I mean, she makes people want to be here.
Sooners by 17, shooting 63%.
You can see Alabama State in their zone defense.
Beautiful beat from Tot. Sahara Williams couldn't finish it, though.
Yeah, it's a great job from Nevaeh Tot, hunting the paint, getting that defender to help up instead of across, and great drop down. Just got a $20 move with a $5 shot. You've got to be able to make that.
And Liz Scott, the block on Hall. Here's Keys running and ripping. Nevaeh Tot flies in to grab it. And Burhill's going to be called for traveling with it as the closeout from Justina Graham caused her to put it on the deck.
Nevaeh Tot, 5'3", but do not sell her out. She plays 5'8", 5'9", and way to rebound the percentages and just knowing where the ball was going to come off and to get that extra offensive possession. Great job by Nevaeh.
So 11 returners. You bring in the All-American Reagan Beers and the 2 freshmen in Zaya Van and Kaya Smith, and there's your roster.
Yeah, Reagan Beers, I mean, the #1 transfer in the offseason, came from Oregon State, averaging a double-double. Great addition.
Indeed, she has been. Got off to a great early start. She was the SEC Player of the Week, the opening week of the season. 7th in the conference in scoring, 5th in rebounding.
You can see again the sagging defense from Alabama State. They're going to get wide open looks like that. And great job by Lexi Keys staying ready for that shot.
3 of 4 from three-point range today. She's made 14 of her last 22. 20-point Sooner advantage. Tough here for Franklin. And a steal by Lexi Keys. Sprinting for the lay-in. What a start for Keys. She's got 11. Timeout, Alabama State.
What I love about it is not only that anticipation of the pass, for her to get out, tap it out in front, run it down and score. Chad, I'm more impressed with the bench, how excited they were for their teammates.
Celebrating their teammates are the Sooners' 7-0 run. And shoot it. Sooners shooting the eyes out of it in the early going, leading 42-20, 61% from the field, and Lexi Keys has made 3 of 4 from downtown. They're already with 8 threes made. You start to look at some of the program records. 17 against Oregon back in 2012, but this is not a one-game sample size. In particular, the way that Peyton Verhulst and Lexi Keys have shot it since they went on the road trip.
Well, that's shoot or shoot. And so they're incredible shooters. They're confident shooters. That's what Jenny Bronchek wants them to do. I want to say this, you know, she wants that same mentality out of Nevaeh Tot. And that's one of the things that she's hoping these next 2 games that Nevaeh will get her confidence back. But Alabama State, they'll run some zone. They'll run a 1-3-1. They'll be aggressive at the point of attack. But if Oklahoma continues to rotate the basketball, they're going to get wide open shots.
I remember,
hey, who is that? Is that?
That's the man who's going to win the teddy bear toss.
That's exactly it. I love it.
Remember, about 2 games in, Oklahoma's 3-point percentage was 22-25%. People were asking, Coach Baranchik, are you worried? No, there's no story there. We got the right players taking the right shots, she said.
Right.
Speaking of right player, right shot, the grad student, Amaria Tucker, knocks it down. She's a double transfer from Bethune-Cookman to Alabama State. Zyvan misses everything with that one. And back it goes to the Hornets.
I'm just really impressed with Alabama State right now, coming in very confident shooting. They only average 44 points per game, and they're already at 23 here in the first half.
That's going to be a foul against Zyvan. And that will be her first. That's only the second against Oklahoma here in the second quarter.
Well, I know Jenny's excited about that because the other night against Louisville, think about Reagan Beers and Skylar Vann, how they had 2 fouls in the first half, had to sit for a very long time.
Zyvan, the steal, the conversion, and 1.
Freshman, 5'9" guard. I mean, can get out and run, and just her athletic ability. But what she did on the left side of the floor, shot it with her right. But what I loved it is she kept it away from the defense trailing behind her.
You know, that's a bit of a snapshot of what she has been like. Commits the turnover or shoots the shot that goes out of bounds and then comes right back with the steal. She has bounced back quickly when she's made mistakes.
I mean, she brings the energy every time. And like I said, as a freshman, that's the future of Sooner basketball.
And Skylar Vann returns. So the Vann sisters playing together. They've never had the chance to do that in the past because of the age separation. Just haven't been on the same team until now. So quite special for them.
Yeah, their family. I mean, that saves for some travel.
Yes.
All on the same team.
Reagan Beers fouled, trying to corral that rebound. They will whistle it on Jackson.
Well, listen, I know that we keep talking about these incredible wide open threes that Oklahoma are knocking down, but they really do have an inside advantage with Reagan Beers, and I'm expecting them to continue to try to get her and feed her the ball just like that.
How'd you know that was going to happen? How did you know?
I saw Reagan Beers working too hard down there, and she's so fundamental. I mean, she's the timing of the duck in just now to go make contact with the defense and keep her lead hand away is Boy, she's good. She's really good.
So take us through that, the timing of the duck in.
Yeah, I mean, usually you want, when the ball's dribbled over, you don't want it to go past the slot. The slot is that area between the wing and the free throw line. I'm going to keep it simple. But she, right when it comes to that point, she knows she has to create space to work, and it was a great pass.
That looked like a pretty good duck in right there, too, by Skylar Vann. I mean, I'm just picking up what you're putting down.
Well, I'm loving that. I'm just telling you, I'm receiving that pass.
Alabama State turnover. That is their 12th here in the first half. And Aubrey Jones enters the Oklahoma lineup. You talk about pieces that Jenny Baranczyk has, a veteran player in Aubrey Jones.
I mean, this depth for the Sooners is unbelievable. If anything, she's got to figure out these rotations and the chemistry of this team.
And I think that's what these final few games before SEC play might be about.
Yeah, I agree with you. She was hoping to get some of these players that even came back from injury in September, trying to get them in better game shape. Not, you know, and we always talk about defense travels. She needs this bench to travel in the SEC to be competitive.
Reagan Beers fouled. She'll make a trip to the charity stripe. Tucker is called for that personal foul, which Baranczyk substituting pretty liberally here in this one.
Yeah, that's there's a little hint there where she brings that basketball down a little bit. She needs to keep it up, but then again, she drew the foul, and now she's at the free throw line. So if she missed it or got blocked, I would have said that a little bit more with authority.
She has expanded her range, made a couple of three-point shots this year. Hasn't taken that many, but she has shown the ability to step out on the floor.
Well, one of the reasons, Jenny told me that Reagan Beers wants to play at the next level. She wants to be a WNBA player once her college season is over, and she knows that she's going to have to extend the game. I mean, it's going into positionless. She's going to have to defend around the perimeter, and so she's going to try to do that more for her to get her better prepared.
She's a pretty unique player even for the next level, isn't she?
She is. Yeah, I mean, she's like right now, being able to defend a smaller post player is something that she's definitely going to have to get used to.
Aubrey Jones got a little space, and just like Lexi Keys, she'll make you pay.
Too many offensive weapons on this Sooner basketball team.
This is a 12-0 run for a 31-point lead. Lane to the bucket, and Cordasia Harris pays it off. Preseason all-SWAC player this year. Yeah,
she's the offense runs through her, and so I know that she's coming back from injury. She's not able to practice with her team. She has good days and bad days, Coach Jackson mentioned, but hopefully she'll be full-fledged, ready to go by conference play.
Yeah, she had shoulder surgery in the offseason. That one dropped home by Cordasia Harris, so she's put together back-to-back buckets. This is a 14-4 Oklahoma run. And Aubrey Jones continues it with her second three.
It doesn't matter who Jenny Baranczyk brings into this game. They are ready to shoot, and Alabama State is going to have to make an adjustment. Either trap, run them off the line. They've got to decide, are they going to give up the 3 or the 2?
Oklahoma set to sub in 4 more players. As Amani Wofford can't get a friendly roll. Put back up by Tucker, no. Tucker got another look at it. Here come the Sooners.
Coach Friedman said Tucker is high-energy player. She hunts the rebound, and we saw that in that particular possession.
That went off Raina Scott's head.
The soccer coach is right now at OU going, we're going to sign her right
Matt Mott, he's looking at that going, it's just right across the parking lot over here. John Crane Field. 2.5 to play here in the first half. Oklahoma shooting 62%. They've made 10 of 23s.
18 assists.
As is typical for this team. 23 assists per game. But this is even a high mark for them. And Raina Scott drills that one. That's her second made 3 of the year.
Second made 3. And what I love about it, some coaches would say, oh, please don't, or they hold their breath when that shot goes up, but that's what Jenny wants.
This is a 20-4 overall run in the last 4.5 minutes.
Nice pass.
Skylar Van off the high-low from Reagan Beers, who gets the assist.
Well, that's, again, Skylar Van, Reagan Beers, interchangeable, who can play with their back to the basket, and that's what we just talked about, going to the next level. Jenny Bronchek is going to continue to let them look for that high-low.
Sooners have hit 66. The program record in a half is 67 points.
67. We have 1:16 left. I think they're going to do it, Chad. Alabama State pulling it out for just a ball screen, looking for a quick attack with 9 seconds on the shot clock.
Beers really impacting that look by Harris. Beers working hard.
Nice
They'll reward
pass.
her. She lays it in.
There it is, Chad.
So Oklahoma now a program record 68 points in a half. And this is a 12-0 run. At about 12 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock to close out the half.
Think how many great teams have been here at
Exactly.
Oklahoma to be able to say that. Unbelievable.
That one will stay on this end. They say off Skylar Van. And finally, Nevaeh Tott, Kirsten Johnson, Peyton Verhulst, and Sahara Williams. They've been waiting about 2 minutes to check in. Haven't had any stoppages until now. Oklahoma back home for the first time in 5 games and 3 weeks. And I think they were ready to get back into that brand new locker room back there.
Oh, nice.
Be back on the floor.
I would love to see that. And probably in their own beds. That's always a plus.
Caitlin Bryant drops down that too. Shot clock is off. Verhulst will give it a try. No.
I like this small lineup. You know, with Peyton at the high post area, she can knock down that mid-range.
68 first half points, a program record for Oklahoma, and 11 made threes in a half is also a program record. Latricia, what an offensive show it was.
Well, it's not just from one person. It's not just Peyton. It's not just Skylar. I mean, everyone that Jenny Bronchek brings into this game is knocking down shots. Chad, shooters, shoot. Can't wait for the third quarter.
They were Reagan Beers, Skylar Van, and Lexi Keys. Oklahoma shoots 64% from the field, and from three-point range, the Sooners were 11 of 21. Alabama State got off to a hot shooting start, but Oklahoma kind of closed that down. It is a steal for the Hornets to begin half number 2. Amari Franklin, coast to coast for 2.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Jenny Bronchek did not draw that up at halftime. I mean, that's not what you want to see coming out starting this third quarter.
Sooners go with their same starting 5. Alabama State with Ashley Gray out there, Justina Graham. We saw Amari Franklin with the run through. Sahara Williams off the mark with that one, and Graham rebounds it.
I like the adjustment, putting Peyton on the inside, pulling Skylar Van out around the perimeter so she can knock down the 3. A lot of different strategies that Jenny Bronchek can bring to this game today.
Justina Graham led the Hornets in scoring in the first half. She had 10, made 2 of 4 from three-point range. Shot clock getting late here for Alabama State. 2 to shoot. Sahara Williams comes up with an Oklahoma steal.
Well, that's one of the things that Alabama State must do a better job of. They've already, Oklahoma has 19 points off of Alabama State's turnovers. Got to clean it up to stay in this somehow.
Great ball movement. Reagan Beers started that transition break. And Verhulst with another assist. Oklahoma now 23 assists on 28 made field goals. And a turnover against Alabama State. Ashley Gray couldn't handle that pass over on the wing.
Yeah, well, that goes back to the turnover. Can't afford to have empty possessions on the offensive end when you've only scored 31 points in a half. You've got to at least get a high percentage shot off every possession.
So, Frida Freeman-Jackson, 27th year as head coach at Alabama State. SWAC Hall of Fame in 2019 for her. And you know, they're getting ready for conference play, so they're not going to change their style because of what the scoreboard may look like today. It's not about today, it's about the long haul for this team.
Well, she told us, Chad, that she breaks the season into 3 chapters: preseason, SWAC season, and then postseason. And she keeps these players fighting no matter what the score is, and she keeps them in perspective. Like, we're playing these big teams for a reason to better prepare us for our conference play.
Drive there by Alana Pooler, and Liz Scott defends her double dribble. She stopped it, then tried to go to work again in the low post. This is that part of the game where Jenny Baranczyk can work with so many lineup combinations. You've got Kirsten Johnson and Liz Scott on the floor together.
Well, we're so used to Oklahoma playing that 5-out positionless basketball, high player and ball movement, and Reagan Beers brings a different dynamic, because sometimes when you have a post player like that brings a lot of attention. That slows down the flow of the guards and their decision making. So she said that she's still trying to figure that aspect of the offense out.
Williams off the mark with that, but she'll chase down her own miss. And the other thing that Jenny Baranczyk reminded us of the other day, Liz Scott was just cleared in October.
Right.
Reagan Beers missed time coming back from injury. So if you think about this, it's 1 game in 11 days right now for Oklahoma. They're going to have finals week, but valuable time in their home gym and on the practice floor.
There's no place like home.
That's right.
I mean, there is not. And to have this game and the next game against Oral Roberts, as you can see, how many substitutions. I just haven't seen that from an Oklahoma team in a while, and so the depth is just unbelievable, and it's really going to help them in SEC play.
That foul is on Nevaeh Tot. That's her first.
Yeah, just got a little bit late, got caught watching the ball and stepped too slow, caused that foul. And, you know, some coaches, Chad, would say make sure they don't get an and one, you know, or, you know, that would some say if she didn't make it, it would have been a smart foul. But I know Jenny Baranczyk just wants her to get back and get in position.
Verhulst lines up a 3. That one's down.
Come on.
Target practice. That's the Sooners' 12th made 3.
That kid can flat out shoot the basketball. I mean, she has found a home here in Oklahoma and is loving every minute of it.
Sooners by 40, under 7 left here in the third. Off the mark from Justina Graham. Verhulst head up. And the pull-up.
Nope.
Man, I mean, it's the holiday season. She's
Merry
got more
Christmas.
tools than Home Depot.
It's fantastic. Well, if I can shoot like her, I'm going to Home Depot after this, because I'm going to tell you, she led the break. She is their primary ball handler many times, and to be able to dribble all the way down and pull up the mid-range jumper, golly, that kid is playing lights out.
Look at Kirsten Johnson run the floor and score.
Well, now Alabama State, now enough is enough. You know, that's something that I know Coach Freeman, I mean, she's tough on him and wants to be. I mean, she's established. I mean, she has much respect in the SWAC. She's was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I know that she's not going to be satisfied with those easy leak-out baskets.
This one on the way from Hall is off the mark.
Well, Chad, again, what great defense, staying away from the offensive players so the official would not call a foul. But I love how the Sooners, there's always someone different leaking out, looking for the pass. But Nevaeh Tot, she can thread a needle on any given night.
So Oklahoma substituting Keys and Aubrey Jones with Zia Van back in. Zia Van fouled on her trip through the paint by Ashley Gray.
Now listen, Chad, I know the score is 77-33, but Alabama State is already playing better than they did the other night in Stillwater. I mean, they the game ended with 49 points, but right now they're just playing more together, more aggressive. So I love that Coach Freeman Jackson started watching film with them, and they came back better prepared.
Just like that right there. And it'll be 2 free throws for Ashley Gray. She'll try to snap a 7-0 Oklahoma run. Ashley Gray is a player that played 23 games a season ago, and her sister Alicia, the WNBA's Atlanta Dream.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I was trying to gather myself going, I know that's her. That's great genes in that family. And then Coach Freeman Jackson, her daughter played on the championship team at South Carolina, finished at Florida State, and now is a graduate assistant for Mom.
And, you know, she's watched the growth of this sport as Frida Freeman Jackson. She just said, amazing to see the grace and courage of the young women in the sport and what it has done. Look at Zia Van all the way from end to end for the deuce.
Yeah, she's got a little spunk about her. I mean, she's got a quick first step, can get out ahead of the defense, finish under traffic. Nice job by the freshman.
Pooler up and over the top, no. Liz Scott does a great job just to catch that.
Yeah.
Aubrey Jones, nope, they'll wipe it away. Offensive foul they call on Liz Scott, getting her free for that 3. Sooners continue to build their lead, 79-33 with 4:36 to play in the third. At the home with that.
And the young lady running the event was trying to chase her down with a plastic bag behind her. I like how the way she thinks. I almost grabbed a couple.
By the way, yours made it out into the OU interlocking logo at midcourt. Good toss by you.
Yeah, thank you, Chad. I just wished I could have got an assist for it, meaning the good kind.
So during the break, they reviewed to see if the shot was away from Aubrey Jones before the foul against Liz Scott. And the initial call was that the foul occurred before the shot, and they said that stands. So no 3-pointer for Oklahoma.
Well, I am going to guess that they're going to get another one here before this game is over. A few more.
The program record for threes made in a game is 17.
Okay.
And Oklahoma with 12 so far today.
Well, Oklahoma, you can see the pace has slowed down a little bit, and right now Alabama State is in their zone, but you can't trim the edges around the perimeter against the zone. You've got to get the basketball inside, either to the high post or the low post, and play inside out. And right now, they're being, around the perimeter, you've got to puncture it to get open looks.
Alabama State trying to find some offense, just 4 points so far here in this period, and a traveling violation there. We'll send it the other way.
Well, right idea from Alabama State. Oklahoma is playing behind the post player. I believe Reagan Scott was the defender, but she just got to try not to make a shot before she actually makes the move, and sometimes feet will shuffle when you do that. So just keep patient and read the defense and kiss it off the backboard.
Just the length.
Boy, it made it sound easy, didn't it?
Yeah, it's just simple as that. The length that Oklahoma possesses, and it'll be a different story for Alabama State when they get into SWAC play. You won't turn around and encounter a 6'3" post player every time you're down there.
No, not at all. And like I said, Coach is going to get some players back from injury. The young lady Harris right now is not 100%, and she keeps the players in perspective. Like, we're playing these games, one, for the great team bonding, the great experience, probably making a little bit of fundraising money to help, you know, the program. I did it when I was a college coach at the lower level. We would go and play Oklahoma, Baylor, Texas A&M, and it's memories. It's part of their journey, and it's going to make them better.
Zia Van swivels and gets all the way to the rim for two.
What's that move? Swivel, you nailed it, Chad.
It was a definite swivel.
She did, and she loves that right-handed layup on the left side away from the defense. That's definitely her primary move.
Such a talented player, 3-time high school state champion, and Zia Van has moved right in and played extended minutes as a true freshman. This is an 11-0 Oklahoma run in the last 4 minutes. And they have held Alabama State to just 34% from the field overall.
Chad, I remember taking my Oklahoma City team to Baylor, and that's when Kim Mulkey was there, Brittany Griner. Of course, we didn't have any players that could play against someone like that. And one of my brothers was the assistant coach at the time, and we scored right off the jump ball. It was 2-0, and I looked at my brother and I said, take a picture, because that's the first time and only time we're going to be ahead in this game. We took our pizza and our check, and we went home after that game.
Yeah, and still remember it, just as you said, years from now, playing in environments.
Great point.
Shot clock sitting at 21 for the Sooners.
Alabama State in a 2-3 zone under the basket. And Alabama State will stay true to themselves. I mean, they're not going to change what they do defensively or offensively against these bigger teams.
Sahara Williams, the offensive rebound, and 2. She's got 5 so far in this game. The Oklahoma lead is now 50.
Averages 4.5 rebounds. Really like her. Strong build, gets out and works hard.
And that's the area right there, trying to guard out on the floor. She's gotten a lot better at it as Sahara Williams. That's 2 fouls on the Sooner sophomore.
Well, when you think of the Oklahoma Sooners, you always think offense. I mean, you think about Jenny Bronchek at her previous school, Drake, and that high-pace offense. But I'm going to brag on their defense. Their defense has really stepped up this season, and that's going to win them a lot of basketball games.
Without question. Opponents on the year shooting just 33% against Oklahoma. That's a top 5 number in the SEC. And they're one of 3 teams in the top 12 nationally in these stats: scoring, shooting percentage, rebounding, and also, as you mentioned, field goal percentage defense. That's a heavy collision. Looks like everybody's okay.
Yeah, you love it when they jump up and are smiling. But what I like even better is how both teams sprinted to their teammate on the floor, and great block, but just got a little arm-to-arm.
Cordacia Harris comes around and picks up that foul. She's okay. Remember, she is a player coming off that off-season shoulder surgery as Raina Scott lines up this 2 free throws. Well, those look easy. Good release and down.
Well, we always say at the free throw line that nothing changes except for the pressure, and so that should be the easiest shot in basketball.
But it doesn't seem to be for many.
People always ask me that, go, man, she's a great three-point shooter, but she's averaging 60% from the free throw line. Why? And sometimes you just don't practice them enough in a practice time setting. And so you got to treat it just like if you were shooting threes. You got to put time in.
That one from Graham just barely grazed the rim. Aubrey Jones left unguarded.
Oh.
Beatrice Culleton gets a reset. And Jones gets knocked over. 2 free throws coming here for Aubrey.
That all started with Beatrice getting that offensive rebound and another kick out. But what was great with Aubrey Jones is that she saw the back foot of the defender open wide, and she attacked it. And when you do that, it takes away the recovery step of the defender. Great job by Aubrey Jones.
She's 2 of 3 from three-point range today. This is her first trip to the foul line. 85-35 Oklahoma. Looks like Alabama State going to go back to the bench for Omaria Tucker.
We're talking about Aubrey Jones. I'm in a basketball family. I spent a little time with her sister Ashley in
Kelsey
the league.
Also played at Iowa State for Bill Fenley, and Aubrey started her collegiate career there with the first 2 years, and now her 3rd season as a Sooner.
Nice ball
Jones
pressure.
Got a hand on that. Raina Scott really harassing the offensive player. And Raina Scott fouled. She will shoot 2. That's the 5-foul limit for Alabama State.
Raina Scott, I saw that in and out move right there. I mean, that's next level moves right there. That's a great job. And it would have been one of those highlights if she would have able to squeeze through that defense.
6 assists for Raina Scott today. That leads Oklahoma. And now 1 of 3 at the foul line. 6 points for her. Scoring down in this period. Sooners scored 35 in the first, 33 in the second. And now, here in this period, 19 points with under a minute left. It's a lot of lineup shuffling. We see Landry Allen in for the first time, the sophomore forward from just down the road, Tuttle, Oklahoma. And Kai Smith, the freshman from Oklahoma City, Putnam West.
Nice.
Nice ball screen there. Creates the 3 for Taylor Smith off the mark. Shot clock is off here.
Alabama State allowing Oklahoma to get set up. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Around that 8. She should receive a screen. Oh, a little back screen at the elbow. Nice move.
Well, it has been all Oklahoma from the get-go today. Sooners have their largest lead of the day.
7 teams in the top 20. From top to bottom, everyone has a winning record. LSU the other night, big win against Stanford in overtime. I mean, it's just amazing. The coaches in this league, the teams that are in this league. We're going to see a lot of these incredible coaches and organizations in the postseason for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle every single night with the depth of the league. We talk about, you know, the teams in the top 25, but you just don't get a gimme.
No, that's like the league, right? I mean, every night you've got to be playing at your best.
Shot clock is at 3 here for Alabama State. Beatrice Culleton got her hand on that in a shot clock violation.
Shot clock violation.
Alabama State with 22 turnovers today. Shot it so effectively in the early going today. Did the Hornets scored 18 points in the first quarter. But it has been Oklahoma's defense that has allowed them to separate. Sooners are always going to score. They have under Jenny Baranczyk. But as you said, the difference maker has been the way they've defended so far this year.
Yeah, they're going to have to defend. And you can see right there on screen, you know, Jenny in the ear of the official, but you got to still fight. I mean, your players are an extension of you, and they've got to see you fighting for them, even though the score's 87-35. You got to plead your case.
Caitlin Bryant off the mark there. Verhulst is back in for Oklahoma. Look at her end to end and laying that thing up and in.
Oh, Peyton, like I said, one of the best guards in the country, and you know, she loves this system that Jenny Bronchak brought to Oklahoma. It's free-flowing. Oklahoma is not a team that's going to run a lot of sets in the half court. She wants playmakers, and Peyton is a playmaker.
That she is. Pass first is the idea, and the shots will come.
And Chad, that's a perfect example of when you have post players inside. You can see how they all kind of like that deer in the headlight. You know, you catch the ball and you look inside, then everyone stops and stares. They've got to find a way to continue to produce movement to get those defenders to, you know, hopefully make a mistake.
So these are the numbers last 5 games for the SEC co-player of the week. 18 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting better than 50% from three-point range. And, you know, she has a waiver to return and play again next year, does Peyton Verhulst.
I have a feeling I know what she's going to do.
Man.
Could be wrong, but she really likes it here, but we'll see. She said, actually, that Oklahoma has been the best thing that has happened to her. Struggled with a little bit of mental health issues. She's made that public prior to coming, and Oklahoma gave her everything that she needs, and this is the best time of her life playing basketball here in this program.
It's not just doing that right there. It's the holistic approach that Oklahoma has. As you said, the physical nature of this sport creates mental health needs, nutritional needs, all those sorts of things.
Whatever they need.
And Oklahoma's got it for them. Peyton Verhulst, 13 points, couple of assists today. And Oklahoma in a runaway.
Yeah, I think Alabama State, you can see them slowly getting back. I'm sure they're worn out. They have played a gauntlet of a schedule, and it's not going to get any easier. They have Auburn, they have Florida next.
90 points per game and 94 today.
Well, I think you nailed it when you said that the culture that she has created here in this program, she has consistency with her players. They understand the system that Jenny wants to run offensively and defensively. They worked through that the first season, and now it's a well-run machine. She can set back, make adjustments. But this team just, I mean, and Reagan Beers just fits right into it.
You know what players will fit, and the players know what they're going to get. I think that's a huge deal as well.
Well, you're right, and Jenny talked about the transfer, you know, portal, and she even said coaches need to do a better job of recruiting players that fit. Maybe you wouldn't see so many people leaving for another program, but perfect example was Peyton. You know, it wasn't the right fit at Louisville, but here in Oklahoma, it is the right fit. So you've got to do a better job. Really know who you are recruiting.
Pooler cashes in on a three-point play there. She began her collegiate career at Shelton State Community College in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Here comes Franklin. Alabama State still playing hard despite the large deficit.
Yeah, that's one thing they will do that I have seen from this team. They do not play the scoreboard. Chad, they're playing for something bigger.
Lexi Keys a little short on that try. Keys has been a huge part of the story today, though she's 3 of 5 from three-point range.
I mean, she's a player that could start at most teams, you know, and to have her coming off the bench and her embracing that new role, that's a selfless act, but also it's giving up the me for the we is a perfect example of what Lexi Keys is bringing to this team.
Still a very good defender, and you know, these players, we see it on the floor in games, but what they bring to the practice floor, their focus, intensity, and all those intangible things.
But so competitive because of the depth.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want minutes, you've got to outdo the other. And right now they found a way to love one another and play together. But, yeah, you're trying to earn some minutes right now.
Ashley Gray through the passing lane, but could not finish it. Here's Zia Van galloping the other way for the Sooners.
Love Zaya Van getting back, not giving up on that play and contesting that shot at the rim.
Man, that's a great pass from Raina Scott.
It is.
Kirsten Johnson had that tipped away from her, out of bounds. And we will see Kaya Smith return along with Landry Allen.
You know, when we talk about adjustments, I mean, you got to give Alabama State credit. They will run a zone, a 2-3 zone at times. They'll run a 1-3-1 at times. And I feel like they probably need to do that a little bit more right now because Oklahoma wants to play fast. They want to have flow. And so trying to disrupt any way they possibly can might give them a few extra points. That defense turns into their offense.
How important is that to see different styles and different types of defenses and different looks on offense?
It's extremely important, and that's why Jenny Bronchek is doing it. Is, you know, you want to see those different styles, the versatile teams. It only better prepares a team for the postseason, and that's, again, part of their story and their journey this season.
Held ball, and the possession arrow will stay here on this end. Looks like everybody's none the worse for wear after getting on the floor. As we are midway through the fourth. Oklahoma setting a program record for points and a half today, 68. And they've had it on cruise control here in half number 2.
94 points, still have 5 minutes to go in this fourth quarter.
They scored 122 against Western Carolina in this building earlier this year as Landry Allen connects. Well, Landry Allen, that's her first made 3 of the year.
Who else do they have on that bench over there, Chad, that can come in and cheat the coaches? Probably
everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to say I don't think there's anyone that's not able to knock down a 3 with just a little space.
So 14 made 3s, ties the record under Jenny Bronchek for Oklahoma. Eight different Sooners have made at least a 3 today.
Well, Alabama State, I mean, I appreciate the open look and the confidence shooting that 3, but there is a mismatch on the inside, and so I'm probably going to feed the post inside and try to get to that free throw line with an and one.
Let me correct myself. 15 threes is the program record under Jenny Bronchek. So 1 off of that. And Oklahoma, with 4:20 left, set to go to 8-0 and stay unbeaten at home this season. For a large portion of this one, Oklahoma leading 97-38, but Skylar Van, you know, she is the reigning Big 12 co-player of the year, first team all Big 12 a season ago. She went over 1,500 points for her career in Oklahoma's win at UNLV. She's the 15th player in school history to do that, but such a great teammate, you know, deferring and helping younger players learn. She's been the holdover through, you think about the Maddie Williams, Taylor Robertson teams and Ani Anusa that they had. Skylar played with all of them. She's kind of been that connector to this new wave of talent that Jenny Bronchek's brought in.
Whoa, that's an incredible point. I mean, all those former players, and Skylar was a part of that. And to have her leadership, she's definitely, you know, we always talk about point guards being the extension of the coach on the floor. Well, she is definitely that in just a different position. Skylar Van has made her mark here in Oklahoma.
That one out of bounds off Harris. 42 points off the bench for Jenny Bronchek and the Sooners today, as they've built such depth. And it is all bench players in there right now.
And valuable experience. Going to strengthen the depth of this bench, minute-wise, experience-wise, moving into the SEC.
Aubrey Jones with that 3, getting Oklahoma to the century mark today with under 4 minutes left.
100-38. And you know what? The Sooners are still going to, same as Alabama State, are going to learn a lot from this game. These are defining moments for your season. Fighting through adversity, making key adjustments, executing at a high level. It's all going to matter in the next several months.
And just as you said, valuable experience. That goes both ways.
You bet.
Is Oklahoma out there now with the freshman Kaya Smith.
And Alabama State, like I said, they're still playing hard. They just got to work on manufacturing some more shots, whether that's offensive rebound and putbacks, attacking the rim, steals, getting out for easy layups. But they look right now exhausted, and I don't blame them. They have, like I said, they have been on the road for a long time, similar to the Sooners.
Beatrice Scott returns for Oklahoma. We hit the 3-minute mark. First ever meeting between these two teams. And it has been a lopsided Oklahoma victory. There's Raina Scott.
Oh, took it a little bit for granted in that shot.
Kaya Smith follows up the miss, though.
And Jenny is not happy. She's not talking about players not playing the scoreboard. Jenny Baranchak is not playing the scoreboard right now.
So oftentimes you're just playing against yourself. There's a three by Alana Pooler knocking that one down for Alabama State. Aubrey Jones. Looks like she's playing horse.
Yeah.
That's 4 made threes for her today.
Yeah, and Pooler, that's her first 3 of the season.
Oklahoma now 16 of 37 from three-point range. The program record is 17 for one game. And Taylor Smith off the mark there. Zaya Van returns.
And love Coach Freeman Jackson. Did not like that shot. Was letting her player know it. So again, it's a lot of growth happening right now in this game.
And that foul will be against Christian Jackson.
And Chad, the Sooners are coming off the SEC ACC Basketball Challenge. Took place December 3rd through the 5th, second annual. And the SEC women won. They won 10 games to ACC 6 games. And I think it was just flip-flopped on the men's side. Men's side, it was 14-2 ACC.
Men's side, it was dominated by the SEC on the men's side, including Oklahoma getting a win over Georgia Tech here at the Lloyd Noble Center. In the
Did you call that?
I did not call that.
You were bragging on that team.
Porter Moser's team, unbeaten start for them, and up to number 21 in the national polls. Oklahoma with men's and women's teams in the top 25.
What's in the water? I'm going to drink some before I leave here today. Maybe all this good luck will rub off.
Kaya Smith, a state champion at Putnam City West High School. They won their first state title in 40 years. But she was also a 6A state long jump champion there at PC West. First season as a Sooner. Zaya Van, her fellow freshman, got that batted away. Here are the freshmen connecting, and the lay-in for Smith.
Athletic, quick, talented young ladies, but Zaya Van, I love her on-ball defense. She does a really good job of containing the dribble, but she has quick hands.
About another 3 there from Pooler. Came in with none to start the day, and she's made 2 here in the last 2 minutes. We approach 1 minute left. Oklahoma's largest lead, 65 points. Culleton and Zaya Van connect there.
There's that flip the hip move. I haven't been able to say that tonight, but there it is. Great move. Spacing a little bit off for Oklahoma, but love how they're attacking the tunnel.
5 players in double figures for Oklahoma today. And on the way to 8 and 1. You've got a foul underneath. That is the 4th, though, in the period, so no free throws here for Alabama State. And always a teacher, Frida Freeman Jackson.
Yes, she is. Talk about not jumping in the transfer portal. She's a perfect example the longest she's been there at Alabama State. And her husband coached the men's team for 20-plus years.
There's Caitlin Bryant out of the deep corner. Kaya Smith scrambling back to her feet. And the shot clock is off. Oklahoma going to close this one out. They get back home for the first time since November the 13th. This will be 13 straight home wins for the number 11 team in the country. And this one is convincing as any they've had.
Oh, it is. And she exactly got what she wanted, Jenny Baranczyk. She wanted her bench to play, get time on the court, gain that experience, work on rotations, and what a great record-breaking afternoon.
That it was a record for most threes and points in a half. Jenny Baranczyk's team also a record for assists in one half, and they wind up winning by a final of 110-46 with Skylar Vann leading the way with 20 points. And we're going to visit with Skylar Vann coming up here in just a moment. But Oklahoma good to get back home for them. The threes were flying, and they were flying early and often, Latricia. As the Sooners make 16 threes in this game, the most under Jenny Baranczyk, and just one shy of the program record.